Hello, everybody. Good morning for you. Hope you're having a good Sunday. If you're watching this on Sunday, if you're watching this another time, then I hope you're having a good day on whatever day that is. I miss you all, and I want to share a few things. I'm not actually going to be preaching a message this morning, but I more want to take some time just to talk about our community, kind of connect maybe. What's going on and just talk about that a little bit and really again just say again how much I miss all of you. I had an awesome time this week. We did a Zoom call with a few people to talk about trees. We had a blast. Some really good things came out as we were getting a chance to talk about that. And so that was awesome. We may try something like that again just to connect with whoever wants to, share inspiration, some thoughts. And it's just good to see everybody. I realized something when I was having that meeting, and I realized that this is the longest in my life, like since I was born, that I've not been to church, like actually had church meetings. So pretty much like probably I'm guessing a couple days after I was born, I was in church, and I think honestly the longest I've gone without church is 3 weeks maybe in my entire life. So I've got a little challenge. I don't know if there's anybody out there in the community that can beat me on that. If anybody has gone longer without missing church, let me know. But I kind of doubt that's like 40. Well, we won't go exactly how long. 40-ish some years that I've been to church and never missed more than a couple weeks. And I guess I just, in thinking about that, was realizing that I don't think that is just because it's a job for me. I haven't always been a pastor. I just love the gathering of the gospel community. I love getting to be at church and worshiping with people. I love getting to walk out the reality of community together. And for me, I've just never been able to separate my faith from community. It just never has really made sense to me. I get that there's times where people have to go through some healing, and there's times of change, and maybe there's some in between times while people aren't able to be in communities of faith. But I don't get the idea of an individualistic faith. I don't think that's how Jesus ever presented the gospel. It's not, maybe never been just about me and Jesus. As wonderful as that sounds, it's actually about walking out his love and his life in community with other people. And so I miss that. I miss getting to be together. I miss just the small things. I miss even setting up the chairs. I miss everybody running around. I miss seeing all of you. And it got me thinking a little bit and realizing that I think there's a lot of people. I actually heard a stat, and who knows what that means, because stats can be used for anything they want. But I heard a stat that most Christians don't feel like the interruption of not meeting in this season during the coronavirus has really affected their lives or their faith that much. And I thought that was really revealing and interesting and sad on one hand. I get it on one hand, that I don't think church is ever supposed to be everything to us, that a building shouldn't give us meaning or identity or what we do necessarily on a Sunday. And so on one level, hopefully none of us have been like devastated or find ourselves massively insecure, wondering who God is because we can't get together on a Sunday. Yet on the other hand, for me anyways, the way I walk out faith is massively different. And I feel that missing component of being the body of Christ and being together. And it got me thinking anyways, just if nothing really is different about your walk of faith when you can't get together with your community of faith, maybe you need to relook at what church is to you. And I think that could be something good that comes out of this season for all of us, is that we would look again at what our community is supposed to be, the place that it's supposed to have in our life, that we would look at our part to play in that. And hopefully that will lead some people to reassessing their faith, what they're really walking out. Because I feel like we should be affected if we're not able to be together. I feel like we should feel like something's missing. And so hopefully on the Church World Universal, we'll get people to ask some tough questions of why, what am I really putting into? If nothing is different, maybe something needs to change. But I'm hoping, and I have heard from a lot of different ones of you, that you are missing being together, and you're finding other ways to hopefully touch community in some way and stay connected with one another. But we should feel it, and I think that will produce, I'm hoping that will produce something good in our lives in the long run. I couldn't help but thinking of kind of one of the more famous verses when it comes to community. And it's in 1 Corinthians 12, and it's kind of the body verse where it talks about the body of Christ. But I want to read it in the Message version just because I think it's really powerful the way the writer puts this. So this is 1 Corinthians 12, and we'll be starting in 25. The way God designed our bodies is a model for understanding our lives together as a church. Every part dependent on every other part. The parts we mention and the parts we don't, the parts we see and the parts we don't. If one part hurts, every other part is involved in the hurt and in the healing. If one part flourishes, every other part enters into the exuberance. You are Christ's body. That's who you are. You must never forget this. Only as you accept your part of that body does your part mean anything. It was so powerful. And it's a reminder that church, real church, the actual church, is all of us playing our part, being and functioning in the special, unique way that God made you. And I think maybe that's why I miss getting together so much, is that we've got a very unique, special group of people. And I miss the parts that everybody plays. We're diverse and we're different, but we all have a part to play. And my faith, if this is true, which I believe it is, my faith then needs your part to actually walk in the fullness of who God's made me to be. Like, we need each other that way. And so we should feel like something's missing. That means that while we're gone and not able to gather and see each other as much and function together, that we should feel maybe like a little weird on some level. Like if we're using this body analogy, it'd be like, I'm still moving just fine. I'm alive and breathing, but there's something different about the way I'm going about life. Something, maybe I'm walking with a limp, or I can't hear quite right or see things quite as well. So I'm bumping into walls, or who knows, but that's how I feel a little bit inside. It's just like I'm going, but things feel a little off. And maybe you're finding yourself feeling that too. And if you are, I guess I just want to encourage you, that's okay. We should feel that way. And if you're not, and I'll mention it one more time and then leave it alone, if nothing feels different to you at all about your faith, relook at that and relook at what that means. Relook at what God might be asking of you when we can get together again, when we can be in community. And in some ways, we don't even have to wait. There's ways that I think we can be engaging with each other. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, I asked you to just be praying and thinking about somebody and reach out to them, give them a call, connect with them, text them, do something. But that's a way that we can be in communication with the parts of our body that we need. And that's important in this time. And I think it's just any way that we can find. It's something that I've been doing and I want to talk about just a little bit more. But just thinking and praying about us as a community, how we can stay connected and how we can find ways to function together and let each part of the body be who they're supposed to be. And so I think we need to find ways outside of the usual, since we can't get together and do the things that we normally do, to find ways to exercise those muscles of community. And we could just like sit around, do nothing, watch Netflix and Tiger King all the time, and then just try to jump back into life and church as usual when things get back to normal. But I don't think we'd be able to do that very well. And just even in the natural, Luther's baseball season got canceled, and so he's not able to hasn't been able to play baseball or practice together as a team. And there's been talk all along that maybe this summer there'll be like a shortened season, they'll be able to play together. But something Luther's been doing all along is he's been working out. He's still been throwing bullpens. He's still been hitting off a tee. So he's still doing things to exercise his gift and what he cares about, because he can't just go from nothing to jumping right back into something. I hope that makes sense. It's so weird preaching to a phone because I can't see if this is making any sense to you or get you to nod. But the two people in crowd today are nodding, so I guess I'm all right there. Let's be asking ourselves, how can we exercise community? What can we do to keep those muscles and those body parts going and alive? And so for me, one of those things has been the videos that we've been sending out. I'm hoping that that's just a way that we can stay connected. And so there's been the Sunday message videos. And it was awesome to have Muriel share a couple weeks ago. And I would love, if there's other ones of you that are inspired, we can find ways to make that happen. And maybe we can have some more guest speakers even in this time of quarantine, or at least not meeting together. I think that would be awesome. But in my mind, also just as important to those Sunday messages are the interviews that we've been doing. And those are fun and hopefully funny. If you've watched the last couple, I think they've been pretty high on the funny scale. But there's more to it than just that. In my mind and in my heart, it's just as important as the Sunday messages, because it's giving us a way to see one another and remember the people that are in our community, maybe learn more about them. And the church and what we do is more than just a good message on a Sunday morning. If it's just about a preaching time or a teaching time, I'll maybe talk myself out of a job here, but I'm not the best out there. There's a lot of better preachers and teachers and speakers than me that you can find online. Literally, there's millions of messages online now. Every church in the world practically is doing some sort of live stream or some sort of message. So if it's just about a message, then, again, what are we really doing? But I believe what makes us maybe special or a little different is that it's about walking out life together as community. And so every single one of you are a part of what makes us special. Every single one of you has something to give. And so when we're doing those interviews and you're getting to see different people in the church, my hope is that it just stirs something in your heart, like, oh, that's why I love that person, and I miss them, and maybe I'm going to pray for them more, or something else. Maybe you'll learn something new. But really, again, our community isn't just about what we do on a Sunday morning in terms of preaching and worship songs and teaching, but it's about the life that we share. It's about the Allens and the Matiskas and the Peaks and the Goodwins and the Steels. And I miss seeing all of you here and the life that we share together when we do that. And that's why I want to keep doing interviews. That's why I want to keep finding ways to just get the community before all of us, so that we don't lose touch with the reminder of how important the other parts of our body are. And so that kind of leads me to my next idea that I want to try for next Sunday. And that is, I would like to do just some Zoom check-ins this week. And the hope is that I just want to, doesn't have to be a long time, so it doesn't have to be an hour interview like some of the things we're posting right now. But I just want to call certain ones of you, or Zoom. I don't know if you call it a call or a Zoom or whatever it is. But through Zoom, I want to get a hold of you and then just let you say hi to the community. I think I could ask some basic questions like, how are you and your family doing? You could update us, ask you maybe what's something that you're missing about being together as community, and maybe something like something God's done in your life during this time, or some way that we can pray for you, or we'll just see where it goes. But I'm just thinking short, 5-ish minutes or so, and try to connect with as many of you as I can. Record that so that you can be sending a message to the community, and then for next Sunday's message we'll just play those, and you'll be able to see a bunch of different people. And again, my hope is in all of this that we just don't lose touch with what's important, and that our walk of faith together, we are actually dependent on each other for that. We're dependent on the rest of the members of our body to really experience all of what God has for us. And so if nothing else in this time, I'm praying that at least be stirring for us that desire again to be back in community with one another, walking it out. That would be the bottom of the line. My hope is that you'll be getting inspired about different ways that you can engage, that God would maybe be convicting you. Again, if nothing's changed, then maybe God's going to be convicting you about ways you can engage differently. You can start now, actually. But for sure, when we get together again. And so would you just be praying about that and asking God to continue to stir your heart? You know, if he puts somebody on your heart during the week, pray for them. Again, it's not hard to text somebody, give them a call, but let's really be praying, thinking, believing together about ways that we can stay connected, love on each other, and walk out our faith as a body, not just individuals. I love you. I hope that makes sense. I will be checking in with you this week, and we'll have some Zoom fun. All right. Love you.